Guy A takes $1,000 in paper money and he goes and buries it in the backyard. And guy B takes 1,000 Canadian silver dollars and he buries it in the backyard. Now both of them do have the same amount of money, like fiat wise. They both have, you know, $1,000 basically worth of wealth, whatever you want to call it. Guy A's is in the form of paper. Guy B's is in the form of silver. Now, of course, now we got the phone ringing, so I'm just going to pretend it's not ringing. But anyway, back to my example, right? Guy A buries $1,000 of paper money in the ground. Guy B buries 1,000 silver dollars, right? Now, fast forward to today with the price of silver. Silver currently, I guess like it would vary. Like in Canadian dollars, it's about maybe like 16.50 or something Canadian, which would be about maybe like 12, I don't know, 12 something US, you know, for American viewers. But anyway, you know, fast forward now to today. Now again, you know, both put the same amount of, you know, money into the ground, but guy A's was made of paper and guy B's was made of silver, right? Now the thing is, you know, again, now you fast forward to today, both of them, guy A and guy B, digs up the money out of the ground. But see, this is the thing now. Guy A, you know, still has his $1,000, right? But guy B, now technically guy B has $1,000 too, in, you know, the monetary value or the face value is still $1,000. But one of these here being 0.6 ounces of silver is approximately $10 Canadian for one of these silver dollars here, which is 10 times face value. So technically now guy B can take his, how much was it? 1,000 silver dollars, you know, sell it for $10 each. And now he's going to get $10,000, you know, $10,000 is now what he can get now. As for guy A that put his money into the ground. Like remember, they both put the same amount into the ground, but guy A's was made of paper. Guy B's was made of silver. That's the difference. And I actually looked it up on an inflation calculator on the internet there. In 1967, $1,000 would have been the equivalent to approximately $6,300 in today's money, meaning that what you could have purchased with $1,000 in 1967 in terms of goods and services, it would cost you now $6,300 today to buy that. You need $6,300. So think about that now. Guy B, you know, was selling his silver dollars for $10 each now. Now he gets $10,000 for his silver dollars. So remember, in order to hedge against inflation, all he would need is $6,300. But now he has $10,000. So not only did guy B hedge against inflation, you know, he made a pretty big profit on top of that. Because remember, all he needed to do was, you know, at least reach the $6,300 point to have the same buying power that he did in 1967. But now, not only did he maintain his buying power, he made a profit on top of that. As for guy A, now just has his paper money. You see, that's the difference. That this stuff here ultimately is a piece of paper. It has no real money, you know? People have to realize too that the most important thing also is not just how much money you have. You know, like obviously, you know, people will say, oh, $1,000 is more than $100. $10,000 is more than 1,000, you know, and whatever. But the most important thing is not how much money you have, but in fact how much buying power you have. That's the most important thing. I mean, look in Zimbabwe right now. You know, and look at Zimbabwe. Everyone in Zimbabwe right now is a trillionaire. They're all trillionaires, yet between 80 and 90% of the country lives in poverty because their money has no buying power. It doesn't matter how much you have. The government survives in Zimbabwe by just printing money. You know, that's what happens when you print money and you inflate the money supply. That's what people have to realize. That is what inflation is. Inflation is when the money supply, you know, goes through the roof. That's what it is. You know, the more money in existence, the less buying power or rarity that each individual unit has, whether it's euros, Japanese yen, you know, Canadian dollars, American dollars, you know, South African rand, it doesn't matter. You know, the bigger the money supply gets, the smaller the buying power is. And that's what people have to realize. That's why this stuff here has value, because there's a fixed amount on planet Earth. You can't print this stuff, people. And that's the thing. This is the ultimate store of value. Like I said, because look at the example with guy A and guy B. You know, guy B not only hedged against inflation, he made a profit. You know, guy A that kept his money in this stuff here, You know, he ended up with 1,000 in the end, which is what he started with. But then due to inflation, you know, eroding away the value of his money, he has technically even less. You know, he still has 1,000, but his buying power is even less. You know, it just proves my point. I mean, do this example yourself. You know, take $100 and take $100 worth of silver. You know, bury 100 paper dollars in the ground, bury $100 worth of silver in the ground. You know, dig it up 5 years from now, 10 years from now. You know, see how much buying power the paper has compared to the silver. That's what people have to realize. If you're in the barter system, if you're trading this stuff here for actual paper, or not paper, but another commodity, it doesn't matter whether it was 50 years ago, 100 years ago, or 1,000 years ago. The value of this is pretty much the same when trading in the barter system, commodity for commodity. It's the value of this stuff here. This is what changes. You know, it doesn't matter what the fiat value is of this, like in terms of fiat dollars, how many fiat dollars this is worth, whether it's 10, 15, or 20, it doesn't matter. If you trade commodity for commodity, you'll get approximately the same amount of goods and services with this here, you know, as you would have 50 years ago, 100 years ago, 1,000 years ago. That's what people have to realize, you know. That's why this whole financial system is, in fact, a scam, you know. That's why. I mean, we work our whole lives for this stuff. Why? It's not worth anything. I mean, put your wealth into this and just see how much money you have 5, 10, 15 years from now. That's why silver is the ultimate form of money, because you can't print it. You know what I mean? You can mine more of it, but ultimately there's only a certain amount on planet Earth, people, and that's it. You know, that's why you want to put your money into this and get rid of this crap here. You know, it's as simple as that, you know. This stuff here, you know. I mean, hey, even back to my tableware here, it doesn't matter, you know. It's precious metals, you know. And that's ultimately the thing, you know. If you want to maintain your wealth, put it into this stuff here, because this here is a hedge against inflation, you know. Inflation will not affect this. And remember, again, it's not about how much money you have, but how much buying power you have. This whole financial system is, you know, it's nothing more than a kid's game of musical chairs, you know. It's almost like the kids represent the debt and the chairs represent money to pay it off, you know. You know, when the music stops, you know, all the kids rush for a chair and they sit down, and some debts, yes, will be paid off, but there's always going to be debts that don't get paid off because there's not enough money. And that's the problem. It's a game of musical chairs, you know. That's the whole scam with the monetary system. It's a game of musical chairs. And the only reason why no one notices is because the music just won't stop. But when it does, then people will see, will open people's eyes. Anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions on why I feel that silver is in fact money. For those of you that watched right up until the end, you know, thanks a lot. Now I know, you know, there's other people that probably clicked it, you know, after the first 10 seconds and probably just went back to watching American Idol or seeing what Paris Hilton is doing. Hey, you know what? That's your business. But, you know, we need to get rid of this empathy surplus that we have in the world right now, is people just don't care, you know. We have this huge surplus of people not caring. And that's the problem. We need people to care about this, because that's why the scams continue, you know. People just, they don't care, you know. People rather just, you know, go watch, you know, the football game or go watch, you know, reality TV shows. People don't care. And that's why it continues. But anyway, you know, if you watch the end, all the way up to the end of my video and you watch other videos like this one, you know, thanks a lot. I mean, I refuse to put dirty words into my tags just to get people to watch. I mean, I could do that. I could put dirty words in my tags and get people to watch, but you know what? I want people to watch because you have a genuine interest in what I'm saying and what other people are saying. That's what I want. You know, I don't want to, hey, you know what? I want to see girls jumping on trampolines too. You know, I like that too, but there's other things that are much more important in the world right now, in society, that we have to focus on as well. I mean, you know, hey, again, I'm not cutting down girls on trampolines. That's great. But hey, I mean, you know, this stuff here, we have to understand this, and then we can understand the problem. You know what? Because if we don't, you know what's going to happen? One day, the very bankers that caused all of this They'll own every single thing on the face of the earth, including your soul, which you used as collateral to pay for that big screen TV that you probably didn't need in the first place. Anyway, thanks for listening.